The Whitefox isn't anything new. They've had a lot of group buys through mass drop and has been a popular option for when there weren't a lot of 65% layouts available. After some kind of falling out they've had with mass drop, Input Club launched a Kickstarter campaign for the newest Whitefox in June 2017. There were a couple hiccups and delays along the way, particularly regarding the Halo versus Hako switches, but I finally received mine after nearly 9 months of waiting. Inside the nondescript box, you'll find an attractive carrying case with the Whitefox logo. It feels decently sturdy and I trust it fully to protect the board during transport. Inside the case, you find the keyboard, a box containing the cable, some extra keycaps, and a thank you note. Notice that the bottom of the case has little indents for the feet. This is a nice little attention to detail that I appreciate. Now to the Whitefox. It's a familiar design that we know and maybe love at this point. It's low profile like the K-type, and the blue escape and arrow keys nicely accentuate the white base, which are dye sublimated with a nice font. The case itself is pretty thin and extends a little bit on all 4 sides away from the keycaps. I think this is a good amount of bezel that sort of draws attention to the keyboard part of the package. The Whitefox Vera was only offered in this layout, which is called the True Fox. The distinguishing factors are the split backspace, like the HHKB, and the gap between the modifiers and the arrow keys. Out of the layouts that were available in all previous models, this is my favorite. Recently, I grew to like the placement of the backspace in this location, and while I don't fully buy into the claim of the gap improving ergonomics, I think it looks nice. On the back, there are 2 cone feet and 2 bump-ons. A problem I have is that the front bump-ons are installed too far back. This causes the case to make contact with the resting surface. This isn't really something you can fix elegantly because unlike previous Whitefox models, the Vera has indents to hold the bump-ons in place. This isn't a huge deal, but it's a bit annoying. Another change over the older Whitefoxes is the newer USB Type-C port. I don't have strong feelings about this, but do note that plates and cases from previous models will not work here. For a board with a low profile design, I always thought that the Whitefox's case had a pretty good build quality. And the same goes here. At just over 1.5 pounds, it's not heavy by any means, but it still feels good in the hand. The keycaps also follow the trends from previous designs. They're a thick PBT dye sublimated cherry profile variety, which I think has just the right amount of texture. Strangely enough, the F and J homing keys are both scooped and barred. I guess that satisfied both camps, but I think I prefer it without the bars. In any case, these are miles better than the Taihao ones found on the K-type, and it's definitely a strong point of this keyboard. What's not a strong point are the stabilizers. In the Vera, they switched over from using Co-Star stabs to cherry style ones, and not learning from the K-type used knockoff ones once again. The guys over at Input Club knows a lot about keyboards, and it's really confusing to see stabilizers as an area to cut costs on. They really make or break the typing experience, and here they break it. They should take notes from Vortex, which, despite using knockoff stabs, manages to make them good with factory lube. Speaking of cutting costs, I wish they had cut costs on the plate. In this iteration of the Whitefox, they decided to add switch top opening capability to the plate, which I assume increases cost via increased machine time, and the result of that is basically every single switch being misaligned. It's not so bad that it's obvious, but it's annoying nevertheless. Though almost every switch exhibits this to some extent, here are a couple of the particularly bad ones. This could have been entirely avoided by not adding this quote-unquote feature. The Hako switches, which are offered with this board, are a box design anyway, so they can't even be opened when installed. Additionally, how many people that are buying a Whitefox are removing their switch tops a ton? I think this is an example of a mistaken design coming from listening to a vocal minority. I wouldn't say that these are necessarily small issues. While they can be fixed, it's just a lot of additional time and resources spent on a keyboard that's already kind of expensive by normal people's standards. You can disassemble the board by just undoing the 8 visible screws on the plate. Be careful when you're doing this though. The screws are attached very tight from the factory, and using the included hex key will strip the heads. I recommend using a Torx bit that's just slightly bigger than the head to get a good grip on the screws. Inside, there isn't much going on. I do recall that in one previous iteration of the Whitefox, a layer of sound dampening foam was included to be placed under the PCB. It's a little disappointing to see it left out, but it's not a huge deal. This particular Whitefox has Hako True switches, which I'll do a separate video on later, and everything was left stock, no lube stabs or anything. Aside from the rattly stabilizers, the board sounds pretty muted. There isn't really any pinging going on, and especially for these switches, which I find very hard to bottom out on, it's pretty quiet. It's not the best typing experience out there, but it's certainly not the worst. Overall, I have mixed feelings about my Whitefox Vera. In some aspects, like the sweet case, USB Type-C, and cherry-style stabilizers, it feels like an upgrade over the previous generation. But in others, like fewer included keycaps, no LEDs, misaligned switches, and no sound dampening, it feels like a downgrade. So I guess that just means that the pros and cons balance each other out, making this kind of a mediocre board in the eyes of an enthusiast. Personally, I think the older generations provide a superior out-of-the-box experience, but the difference really isn't that big. But generally, I'd assume that the older models will be selling for cheaper than the newer ones on the aftermarket, so if you find one and you really want a Whitefox, go for it. Otherwise, you'll have to do a little work with the new ones to make it truly good. I think my lukewarm reaction to the Whitefox has a lot to do with how my preferences have changed over the 9-month waiting period. And I think this is generally a good thing to keep in mind in the hobby, since so many group buys can have insane wait times. I might try to improve on the board a little bit, try to fix stabilizers and misalignments, but I'm not that enthused about the Whitefox. Thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, like it. Make sure to subscribe for more coverage on what I think about the Hako Trues.